right, how's it going, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Purified Podcast. Today is March 15, 2020. I am your host, Luis Palacios, with my co-host, Chris.
Hello. We are here.
How's it going, my good man?
Oh, very tired. It has been quite the week.
Oh, Lord. I can understand that. It's been one of those weeks. I think everybody can actually relate to this, for sure. There's a lot going on, definitely, and we're going to be talking about it because this is the Purified Podcast, all things Pokemon Go related. But it's just a lot. Chris, you can tell that we're both tired today, right?
Yeah, it's just been exciting in good and bad ways.
Yes,
so
there is
I'm
a
sure
lot.
we can say that.
There's definitely a lot going on. So we're going to get right into it. Of course, today's research topics are going to actually include a lot of information once again. Before we start with today's research, I'm going to go ahead and say hi to the chat. LH Gaming, Nick, Rain, thank you very much for joining us. I know there's a couple of lurkers out there. If you guys want to actually just say hi in the chat, we'll acknowledge you throughout the podcast. But we got to go quick because there is a lot of information, a lot of things to talk about. Before that, let me go ahead and make sure that this Meditite is not shiny. It's not. Okay, cool. Let's go ahead and move on then. Paper God, thank you very much for joining us. Okay, so the state of the game. This is the one thing that we're going to be talking about specifically today because there is, as again, a lot going on. Today's research topic is going to include a bunch of things that I'm not going to mention in bullet points because we're just going to keep on talking about it. So, first thing on our list today, we have Genesec's special ticketed research announcement, a drive to investigate the second ticketed event that we're getting here in Pokemon Go, including a mythical Pokemon appearance. So, Chris, you got anything to say before we start talking about the notes of Niantic?
I'm very excited for this Pokemon for PvP, but he might be a pushover. I'm not sure.
Definitely. I wish it actually came out a little bit before Toxic Cup, but I think actually no, we have a little bit of time before that actually is relevant, right?
Yeah. He'll come out soon enough that you'll still be able to use him, especially since some of the cups got postponed a little bit later.
Yes. So, as I was saying, a drive to investigate is the special research for Genesect. It says, trainers, Genesect the Paleosuck, I have no idea how to say that word, Pokemon will be making its Pokemon Go debut in its new special research story event, a drive to investigate. Remember that the mysterious weekend event that was mentioned in the March event announcements, as we knew, it will take place alongside the special research story to aid you in your journey to study the mysterious Pokemon Genesect. Whenever you have a ticket or not, you'll be able to enjoy this weekend-long Genesect team event. Again, some areas will be affected, of course, because of the virus. Make sure that Niantic is actually ready to accommodate, and we will be talking about that too today. So, from Friday, March 20th, at 8 a.m. to Monday, March 23rd at 10 p.m. local time, you can look forward to the following features. The features include the normal, fire, water, and electric, and ice-type Pokemon will be appearing more in the wild. You might see Pokemon such as Jigglypuff, Magnemite, Marill, Houndour, Snorunt appearing more frequently in the wild. Well, thank you for me saying that twice for some reason. Nincada will also be appearing in the wild, hatching from 5 kilometer X. If you're lucky, you might encounter a shiny one. Carablast and Shelmet will be hatching more often from 5 kilometer X, and 1-star and 4-star rays will feature various bug and steel type Pokemon. This is basically the announcement from the March, right?
Yeah.
As everybody's usually could be, shiny Nincada is available in the wild and in eggs. Carablast and Shelmet, we've seen plenty of them since the release of them. I actually was able to hatch a 100% Shelmet, I think it was.
Very jealous of that.
Yeah. And of course, I already evolved it. I should actually change the name of it. But it is technically PvP ready. It's not the greatest rank in Grey League, but it is in Ultra League. somewhere around there, of course.
I think just the fact that nobody knows its moves really puts it ahead.
Definitely, and I'll try it out if I get my motivation going for our Toxic Cups. We'll try it out and see how it goes, and see if it gets some good power ups and all that. Bonuses will be 2 times cash Stardust and 2 times hash Stardust, so we'll be hatching and catching as much as possible. And of course, the special research I try to investigate. As it says here, Professor Willow has found a particular trait of damage and appearances to have been created by a single Pokemon. The kicker: the damage seems to have been caused by attacks of a wide variety of types. Help him discover which Pokemon is behind them in a brand new Special Research Story event. This event doesn't have a set location. If you have a ticket, you can take part whenever you can play Pokemon Go. You can purchase a ticket to gain access to this unique limited time experience where you complete a various off-tags encounters with Genesect, and Genesect will also be appearing in EX-Ray starting in April. So we're finally getting a switch over to a new drive or a new EX-Ray boss, which is actually overdue at this point, right, Chris?
Yeah, I think a lot of people would agree that Regigigas really hasn't been making them get out of the house to raid him, even when there wasn't a lot of health concerns going on.
Yeah, and truth be told, I think after the special research, Regigigas really wasn't a Pokemon to work for. Like, I had an EX pass for one of my accounts, and then I was just like driving by, and I was like, oh, I have a Regigigas. I'm pretty sure nobody's there, so I'm gonna go home. I'm just gonna keep on going. So all throughout the entire Regigigas EX-Ray, like, it was fun for a beginning. It was cool. I got a good 96 IV%, I think. And then after that, I was like, I'm done. Like, I don't need any more. That's like, it's not a good Pokemon to use. It's basically collection and Pokédex entry at this point. So
yeah, it's high CP, but it doesn't really do too much. So
it's just like the main series games. Regigigas was just not there, but a new EX will be coming, and of course we'll be talking about the potential changes that are maybe happening in the next few weeks because of the virus. So again, we have still talk about that, but we got to move it along a little bit longer. So let's continue on talking about this. The special research, of course, will take place on March 20th to March 26th. We already talked about that. In attempt to make the special research event available and playable for as many trainers globally as possible, we have extended this event. So they have extended it.
Oh, great. Okay, sweet. So I did not know that.
So we got around a week to do it, so that's good when it comes down to it. At the same time, through some other means of media, like other podcasts and other YouTubers, we have actually learned that the research itself will not include rate-related tasks, meaning that you don't have to actually have people to raid and do specific tasks of the quest. Everything is going to be a solo event for everybody to use. Chris, what do you think about that? Chris. Alright, looks like I lost my co-host.
Yeah, sorry. Its audio is cutting out every now and then, but we're getting through.
All right. Well, what do you think about the solo special research? Basically, no raid related parts of it.
I think it's very important right now, but I really do enjoy doing a bunch of like raids with everyone, getting together and getting the research done together. But I do understand it right now, and it is very important.
Yes, that is true. It's just a lot going on that they are making the decision that everything that is related to the quest itself is going to be just solo for the virus reason and everything. So before we continue on, thank you very much for Rain for TikToking in the chat, and then Diablo PL, thank you very much for joining us also. So the features specifically for the special research is going to be, of course, you'll be encountering an early access to Genesect, a medal to talk about it. The research objectives will also encounter you with Pinsir, Scyther, Skarmory, Carablast, Shelmet, and other Pokemons that appear in the story or related to Genesect. So we will see a bunch of Pokemons that you are able to at least catch throughout the research. Possibly, good IVs depending on what it is and all that. So exclusive Genesect team avatar items, such as the bag and cap, 5 premium battle passes, 3 super incubators, 3 charged CMs, 3 fast DMs, 3 incense, 3 star pieces, 1 puffin, 15 rare candies, and a glacial lore. Wow. That's a lot for $8.
Oh, yeah.
That's a lot for $8. Yeah, it's crazy.
I mean, in my opinion, it's worth it just because of getting Durant. Because usually you have to trade somebody one of your really rare shinies just for any regional. So
yeah, definitely.
Getting a free one is very nice.
Yes, yes. I forgot to actually mention that Durant is also going to be available only through the special riches itself. So if you want him and you usually can't go to the other side of the world, try to purchase this ticket and you'll see. And of course, there's other exclusive field research out there that will encounter you with Nincada, Skarmory, Shieldon, and Scyther. Again, more shiny chances for a lot of us because almost every single one except for Shieldon has been released as a shiny at this point. So more chances to be able to get a good IV once for either PvP or anything related. So the details are mostly the same as when the Regigigas event happened. You have to purchase the ticket throughout the time off. You can only purchase it with current US currency or equivalent to your country, and you cannot purchase it with Pokecoins. You have to make sure that you stay in your local time zone and play it throughout the event. You have 6 days or 6 to 7 days to actually complete it, so you'll be able to have enough time. And then of course it will be non-refundable. So once you purchase it, you got on that, And then, of course, we'll just tell you how to purchase the special research. You can probably purchase it as soon as it's available in the event tab. And then you'll be buying it and everything else for it. So, Chris, Genesect. As we mentioned, Genesect looks to be a powerful Pokemon in PvP and other medias. I'm actually excited. Genesect is actually one of those Pokemons where I always try to get in the main series games.
I think it's one of the cooler Pokemon just because its origin is one of the more funky ones, being another kind of Mewtwo-esque Pokemon being man-made.
Right.
I mean, it was already in existence, and then we just fine-tuned it into the monster it is.
Of course, this was made man-made. This historic Genesect is specifically just... It's out there, we made it. It is what it is. It is a bug type, so it really has a quadruple resistance to fire, so he may just be going down pretty quickly depending on what it is. So
yeah.
There is one thing that actually somebody mentioned on Twitter is that, the Genesect, when it actually hovers or moves around faster with you, it actually turns into his dry mode and he just flies through you. So hopefully that's gonna be the animation when we get him, in the buddy system.
I'm sure they'll do something cool for sure.
I just want to see that that little thing, space thing, just go through you with you. That's the fun part about it. That's the fun part about it. So that's Genesect. Make sure that you are aware that it is an extended event right now, not just to the 23rd but the 26th, and then of course it is a ticket event. So if you want Genesect now and not have to wait for EX-ray passes, which actually there is an important thing that we have to talk about that. But we'll get that in just a moment. Make sure you purchase a ticket. All right, guys? Let's move on to the next research topic. Chris, you want to read the next line right there for me?
Safari Zone, St. Louis postponed.
Correct.
Yeah, it's wild.
Yeah, so as I mentioned, there is a lot going on to what the state of the game is. The virus has actually become a lot more spreadable if more people are around. They have to make sure that everything is safe for our players, and to make sure to do that, we have to contain what it's out there right now. So any event that may cause us to group together in one place specifically has actually been postponed at this point. That's why this is one of the first lines that we have to talk about, specifically on the research. On our research specifically, I can't talk today. Anyways, okay, so it has been postponed. I think it was going to be next weekend?
I know it was very soon.
Yeah, it wasn't. It was
soon.
this month though. I know for sure fact it was this month.
I want to say, what's today? The Sunday?
Today is Sunday 15th. So I think it was next weekend, if I remember correctly.
I believe so. I'll double check it though while we're talking.
Right. So while he checks on that, let's make sure that you understand what is happening with your ticket itself. If you have purchased a ticket, there is a couple options you have to ensure that you either use it or don't use it. Here is the option. So the first option is that ticket holders may actually choose to keep the ticket for further announcement for a placing date. Remember, this is only postponed, so this will actually happen either later in the year or sometime in the next, few months, depending on how everything is in the next few months. So one thing that you can do is keep your ticket, and then once you actually they announce the next Safari Zone for San Luis specifically, you'll be able to actually, use that same ticket and actually have to purchase a new one. So you already have it and everything. However, if you do plan to hold it, there is a little reward for anybody who does. In addition to the ticket holders will have the special spawns happening locally during the older time. So basically, if Chris, do you know the exact date of when it was supposed to be?
It's saying March 27th, but I feel like that's the only date it will tell me. It will not tell me the other dates.
So it was, I think, around 2 weeks then, somewhere around that time, or technically it's next week if you think about it. Either way, during those times where Safari Zone San Luis was supposed to happen, you'll be able to actually receive the special spawns and actually play locally in your area. However, any rate related is probably not going to happen depending on what they think they're going to be doing. But if you keep your ticket, you'll be able to use it for the next announcement of Safari Zone San Luis, and you'll be able to actually use it to the special spawns. So either you don't get out of the house and just play as much as you want to, or you just get out, but locally you don't have to actually drive or fly anywhere in San Luis, of course. The other options that you have for the ticket, of course, is to refund it. If you refund it, you will get your full money back. I know that a lot of people are probably concerned about ticket fees, or I'm sorry, not ticket fees, but plane tickets and your drive over there and everything. If you talked right now to any airline, you'll be able to probably get your refunds for everything. It is almost confirmed that anybody at this point is probably going to get refunded anything that they are planning for the next month. So it is what it is right now. That's how the state of the world is, not just the game itself. But make sure that you do call your airline and see if you need to cancel anything. But if, specifically because you were going to go to San Luis. But one thing that for sure that we were talking about it in our Discord is that because this was actually canceled, but you still are able to get the special spawns and everything, people were trying to buy the San Luis tickets so that they were able to, use the special spawns without having to actually move around anymore. So, Chris, do you think that was a good idea? I think they closed it, if anything, right?
I don't have a huge problem with it. It's just the people that, brag about it. Oh yeah, as soon as I found out that it was available to get, so I could just sit at home and get all these rare spawns.
Yeah.
I bought it. I mean, it's good for the game, so I guess in the end we're all gonna benefit from it.
That's true. I mean, there are like two sides to the coin here. The people who are basically taking advantage of the situation, and then the other ones who are a little angry that the people who are taking advantage of the situation, So, unfortunately, that is what it is. I think that tickets were either sold out or they were in the process of closing them. So I don't think a lot of them were able to actually get the advantage of the ticket itself. So we'll see
if anyone actually got any.
Yeah. If anybody got them, it is what it is when it comes down to it. So that is what St. Louis is, guys. Just make sure that you do talk to anybody who you need to talk to. Why is there so many monkeys? Jesus. Anyways, we have one more thing actually to talk about being postponed, and that was Abra's Community Day that was supposed to happen today on March 15 around your local time. But that was also postponed to a later date. Again, guys, this is just saying that it will happen again, but at a later time, until everything is basically settled down in the world. So, I mean, it kind of sucks because now Abra is still one of the rarest shinies out there from GoFest.
I mean, I think it's interesting because that means we might get 2 calm days in one month.
It could happen, yeah. It's a possibility, but again, it all depends on what the state of the world is at that point. We have around 2 weeks, up to 30 days, maybe, depending on how the world is going on, you know. So it is what it is when it comes down to it. But again, we don't know the details fully to understand what was going to happen. Now, we were hoping that, you know, come today to our community day or postpone community day, we're going to still see the spawns, but we were not going to get the shinies or the special move, which they were supposed to probably announce the special move a couple of days before this, but because it was postponed throughout the weekend, it did not happen. So that was the announcement for us. Although there was a small leak from, I think, a German post that said the counter or some kind of fighting type move was going to be like a Sam's special move for it, but we're not confirming that yet.
Yeah. And I was actually surprised the people that said that it was going to get counter. It actually gets a decent amount more wins with that just because of how slow its current ones are.
Yeah, definitely. It's just the way how it could be. It was countered in the German article. Yeah, Chris, that's what Chris is saying in the chat. Chris Black in the chat. Thank you very much for that information. But again, we won't officially know until the rescheduled date of Abra's Community Day will happen. So there is an upside for this. So there's a lot of cons and pros and cons in today's research. But in addition, there is a one-time purchase of 30 incense for 1 Pokken coin that will also last an hour. So every incense that you have right now, plus the 30s that they're actually giving for 1 Pokecoin in the shop, will be a full hour. Now, there also is the benefit that the spawns on those instances are going to be like super big, you know. So I popped the one when I was just sitting down for an hour, and there was like 30 or I don't know, 50 spawns. It was happening every 30 seconds. Like, I catch one, and then the next one popped up. I catch one, and then the next one popped up. I was like, what is going on here?
Yeah, it's pretty interesting. I think the only thing that sucks is they haven't given you a way to get Pokeballs from home, really.
Yeah.
Other than opening gifts.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they'll probably talk about that in the next few days to come. I think that is a discussion going with a lot of the influencers out there. So, Pokeballs is one of the things we need the most. I mean, I do have 2 Pokestops, but it's only gonna give me like what at best 1 to 3 Pokeballs every other spin. So
yeah, sit there for hours.
Yeah, so I might just leave like the phone there, my Poke Plus, and I'll be like, okay, so just like, you know, play for an hour, and then I'll come back in an hour, you know. But that is one benefit of the postpone. Of course, there is all the benefits. We have hash distance on our eggs when they're placed in incubators, which everybody is actually taking advantage of right now. I'm taking advantage of the bigger incubators out there, of course, but only hatching the 2Ks or in infinite incubators because, I mean, it's only half. Instead of just 2 or 1, it's the best. I mean, if you can't really play Pokemon Go, open gifts and just hatch eggs. That's all you really gotta do, you know? So, also, Pokestops will drop more gifts as often as before. So instead of having like 1 in every spin or 1 in every 5 spins, you'll get probably 1 in every single spin. So that is also an upside since you'll be sending more gifts if you have the chance to go to a Pokestop in your area. And Pokemon habitats will increase, and more Pokemon will be appearing in the wild. That means that you'll see more variant of Pokemons out there in your local areas. It won't just be like exclusively in areas like biomes and all that, but you'll see more specifically maybe in your house, just like I'm seeing it in my house right now, you know. So
yeah, I've definitely noticed an increase in my living space.
A lot of people are saying like there is back to the old days where the spawns you were just like poof, 30 spawns in one place, and you're like, what the fudge, you know?
Yeah.
Good save there.
I do know a lot of people were actually very aggressive about the fact that they advertised that Pokestops would be dropping more gifts and everything.
Yeah.
I'm like, you do realize this is to shorten the amount of time that you have to be out, right?
Yeah, and at best
Yes,
you probably...
you still got to go out, but yeah.
Yeah, at best you probably just drive through the Pokestops and spin them if you have like a local area where you don't have to get out of the car. But
Yeah,
for
just
more...
sit in your car.
yeah, just sit in your car. That's basically what I did today to do a little bit of hunting, but it worked out pretty well in the long run. So that's what Niantic is doing, but there's more to come still that we still have to talk about. And this is actually a pretty big information to a lot of us here that's basically stuck at home because of the virus. As you guys know, on Friday, March 13th, Go Battle League Season 1 started. So we have the Season 1. It started with a soft reset. So everybody who was like rank 10 or 9 only dropped 1 rank when it started. But then Niantic said, no, hold on. This is not what's supposed to be happening. We're going to go down for an hour and then we'll come back up and then everything should be resetted to full. So it was a hard full reset for everybody, which was kind of like, that kind of sucks. But at the end of the day, it kind of makes sense. Right, Chris?
Yeah, I get it. I just thought the preseason would matter a little bit more. I mean, the rewards were nice for sure, though.
Yeah, definitely. I can't remember what it was, but we got like 3 charge DMs, 3 fast DMs, a raid pass, a lot of Stardust. I think 50K Stardust.
Yeah, for rank 9 it was 50,000, and then for rank 10 it was 100,000.
Yeah.
It does not matter if you throw a star piece; it still will give you that amount.
That is correct. Even if you were to pop a star piece or anything, it wouldn't happen. But yeah, that was a lot of good rewards because a lot of people, wasted a lot of Stardust and TMs on making sure that they were ready for the season and all that. So now we're here, but they gave us a little bit of incentive. Now we have been able to rank up in the last few days, and that's for the next reason that we're going to be talking about right now. Now, we do have 35 battles that we can do daily. However, the requirements to actually get the sets has been completely removed. So instead of walking 3 kilometers per set, all of that has been removed. So now we can do all of our sets in one sitting if we wanted to.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea.
Yes, and that was because, again, this is all happening because of the virus. They're trying to make sure that the leeway of not going out as much anymore, and then if you do go out, you only do the necessities that you need to do, and then come back as soon as possible. So that way, the spread of the virus is not as big. And of course, protecting the players that we need to protect, because everybody wants to make sure that they're safe and sound until all of this blows over. I do want to give a shout out to Liz, the community manager. She's the one that does listen to the community, listens to the influencers like Mystic 7 and Reversal. They all take in everything and they make sure that they're pushing as much information as possible to Niantic. So Liz, the community manager, actually helped make sure that this gets approved. She posted on Twitter saying, guys, it takes forever to get things approved, but we are working through it. And that's why we have what we have right now, which is a huge thanks, because everybody was concerned that, if you can't get out of the house to walk 3 kilometers, you're about to get the sock out and get the 3 kilometers that way, but still. It was to the point where we needed to, it was the right decision from Niantic at the end. But I want to also again give thanks to Liz for doing this for us. So it was basically for our community, our players, everything that we couldn't do, So thank you, Liz, Chris.
Yeah, I'm really happy about it. The only thing that sucks for me is I'm not able to hold back doing all my battles at once. So if I'm up at 12 a.m., I'll just be doing them all.
That's true. That's true for me actually too. There was a reason why I haven't actually streamed a lot in the last few days, aside from a couple other things I needed to do. Every time I sat down since Friday to do my battles, it's been taking me hours to get through all 35.
Oh yeah.
On the first day, because of their downtime for an hour, they gave us an extra set. I was trying my hardest to do all 40 battles in one sitting. I was only able to get the 35, which is the common norm of the battles, before midnight that night. And I was like, okay, I'm done. Finally. I think I reached rank 7. And then the next day I reached rank 8. So that's why I have 110 battles done in the last 3 days.
I think they boosted me a little bit. Like one of the sets I did, I got 5-0, and they jumped me up like 200 rank. I was like, I don't think this is supposed to happen, but okay.
That happened to me. I went 4 and 5 in a premium set, and I went from I think 2130 to like 2180, and I was like, whoa, that was a big jump. For some reason, I was like, that happened. But then I went and started going 2 and 5, some much more of my sets, and I was like, okay, so this is what happens. If you lose more, you gotta get a good win-loss ratio to make sure that you jump up in the ranks. It's been pretty fun, but at the same time, it's been very meta and out there. There's only been a few matches where I'm just like, okay, so maybe I can win this if I do this and that, but no, there's been a lot of meta Pokemons. Registeel, Altaria, Sumaril, you name it, you know? So
like you have to make a team that covers everything, and you can't really make a team that covers everything. So it is hard, but if very, very fun. I love it.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. But just make sure you know your switches and your shield management. Make sure you understand what can tank what, and you'll be good on that point. Although I've been running into a lot of hunters and Sableyes, and I'm just like, I don't know what to do against them. Hunter just hits too hard, too fast, and then Sableye can do chip damage really quickly.
Oh yeah, especially the buddy boost ones.
Yeah, even those are crazy. But I've been running a quite of like interesting set. Most of it is the Registeel Altaria Azumarill matchup, and then of course I try to switch it up a little bit with bringing Deoxys defense form, because I need to get the ranks. I need to get up in the ranks for sure.
Especially right now, it's a lot more on the line now.
Yeah, especially because if you do not get rank 10 before the end of the season, which, you know, we have 40 plus days still on the season itself, but if you do not get rank 10, you don't get the Avatar Post, you don't get the Steven clothing, and then of course you don't get Pikachu Libre either, which, you know, it will get better over time, but this will be the only time you'll be able to get two out of the 3 out there. Although there has been a little glitch out there. I think some people were either hacking or doing something specifically in the game that actually makes them have the clothing right there and then.
From what I heard, it was only if you were in, I want to say Japan, at about 11 p.m. their time. And I think that was when they switched over to, what's it called? Switched over to the actual season.
That's right.
Yeah, I saw somebody talking about that on a post because they happened to fight somebody with the Steven pose on a Go Battle League.
Yeah.
I don't know if everyone got it that way, but I did hear a few people got it that way.
Well, I have seen a couple of people actually in my battles, and I done 110 battles, so I have seen a lot of people then I have had the Steven outfit and the pose, and that's, I think your reasoning makes sense. It's a possibility that whoever was doing their battles throughout the soft reset, they were able to get to rank 10. They got the avatar poses and the clothing before the hard reset came around, so that actually makes way more sense when it comes down to it, and that's why they were like, okay, so this is what happened entirely. So that's why Niantic had to go down for that hour. So that's a lot. That's a lot of information still, and there's still more to talk about, right?
Always.
One of the things that Niantic is doing, specifically to this weekend, so I'm sorry if this podcast comes out a little bit late for you guys. A lot of the influencers like Mystic7, Reversal, Soy Two Dots, and a lot of other people like the Lura podcast and the GoCast podcast. Everybody's actually doing a little special promotion out there. They're saying if you were to battle them, make sure you take a screenshot of the battle, or at least you are actually battling this specific influencer, and then tweet it to Niantic or to one of their Twitter posts or one of their sweepstake posts. You're able to go into a sweepstake that actually grants you 8 star pieces.
Mm-hmm.
So it is actually kind of fun because you don't know when you'll actually be able to battle them unless you follow them on social media. But at the same time, you don't know what ranks they are, so they're like, either you get lucky or you don't get lucky. That's basically what it is when it comes down to this.
It has been kind of funny too because a lot of people are getting their butts kicked by these people.
Yeah, and there are a couple people that I know that have actually invested a lot into PvP. Specifically, the Lura podcast, Ken Pescator has actually battled through a lot in the preseason, so he knows his ways throughout the actual season itself and the meta. His co-host Adam also knows a little bit of PvP because he's done a lot of the Silt Arena. And then the kicker is that you can actually battle the one and only John Hankey, whose trainer's nickname is Ace.
Oh my gosh, I love it.
So he was actually also up through the whole weekend. Of course, he wouldn't tweet out when he will go live specifically, but if you have the chance to actually battle a trainer named Ace, then make sure you send it because, and of course, he's probably going to have a Tentacruel in his team, so you know it's him.
I didn't even think about that.
Yeah. Everybody's actually saying, like, even Niantic itself, like the Twitter itself said, oh, if you battle Ace, you'll see the mythical Tentacruel happen through it.
I love it.
I love it because, as you guys know, we call him Papa Hanky because he is the CEO of Niantic and the creator of Papa Hanky. But his signature Pokemon is Tentacruel. So if you battle Ace and he has a Tentacruel, he is the one and only Hanky, the CEO of Niantic. So again, a lot of people are actually playing and trying to see if you can find him. I don't know what rank he is. We don't know when he actually goes online and starts playing. So if you get lucky, tweet it at us. We want to see if you do get pair against him, or email us. Make sure you give us a little bit of information on how the battle went. We wanna know this. We wanna know who it was, the one who battled Papa Hanky. So that's crazy though, right?
Yeah, I'm pretty interested in it. I mean, how many games do you see that the CEO plays?
Right. It's just crazy. I mean, I'm pretty sure, a lot of CEOs from specific games actually play the game itself and play in the online features that they actually do have. But this is like the most well-known at least for us, and specifically for this game, So it's crazy. We never knew it until that actual post, and we're like, ooh, I want to actually battle him. I'm pretty sure he's not rank 8, so I'm pretty sure I'm never going to get him.
yeah, unless he's doing some serious grinding.
I know that would be cool though. It's like all of a sudden I'm in like a battle and I see Ace and I'm like, whoa, hold on there. But yeah, that is basically the Go Battle League Season 1 started with the walk-in requirements have actually been halted. Means that you can do all your battles. We can do everything that we can for the next 30 days. Actually, that is the announcement too, that 30 days of no walking, basically. So if you want to do all 35 battles, and if we do a little bit of math here, which I'm actually going to do because I don't know how much we we will actually play. Where is my calculator? That is my calculator. All right, so 35 battles times 30 days will be 1,050 battles. So whoever can break that record in the next 30 days, make sure you send us a tweet or make sure you send us an email, because I want to see if you are grinding hard enough to get to 1,050 battles in 30
I already
days.
missed on a few, but if I can get over 1,000, I'll be happy.
Yeah, so we're going to see how it goes for the next 30 days. Now, they did say that it's a possibility they will extend these requirements past the 30 days, but we'll see how the world actually handles it in the end of the day, So that is what it is when it comes down to the Go Battle League. Make sure you go out there, do your battles, get that rank 10, get the Steven post, and make sure you do as many as you can, because you can do as many as you can for the rest of the day. So that is exciting, right, Chris? I mean, I am actually gunning to do 1,050 battles before the 30 days are up.
I was going to say I only did about 10 a day, maybe, with the walking requirement before. Which isn't bad, I love the battles, but I just don't want to walk just to battle.
Yeah, definitely. And this actually gives the incentive for the next 30 days for a lot of the Poké YouTubers to do more than just 10 battles a day, because they can only do 5 and suck up another 5 and all that. So unless you're actually paying, unless you spend a lot of coins for it, so...
Yeah, it gives them a lot of content, so I'm sure it's a win-win for everyone, really.
Definitely, and that's really the plus side to this whole change that is happening, because once all of this is over, I'm pretty sure we'll go back to the actual walking mechanics of it. So make sure you take advantage of it. You have a full month of this, minus 3 days before this podcast is released, or 4 days, depending on it. But either way, we have that much going on. And then there is 2 more small little announcements that I want to actually cover before we get into the heavy stuff of this podcast. EX raid passes has actually been halted. So even if you were to do any activity for EX happening, it will not actually prompt you to get the EX pass anymore. At least until the next few weeks happen. Again, this is all happening because of the COVID-19 virus. Chris, you think that this is a good idea happening after knowing that Regigigas will not be in raids anymore, or is this actually a good move right now?
I mean, I don't think anyone would cry at them taking away Regigigas. I mean, I'm honestly surprised Regigigas is still in raids.
That's true.
So
that's true.
I don't think it's that big a deal, but
just wait.
It is gonna suck in April, yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna suck in April. Just wait until the shiny gets released.
Oh my gosh, shiny Regigigas, that'd be cool.
I don't know if the main series games have actually released Regigigas shiny.
Oh yeah, I believe he is. His shiny isn't that good though, in my opinion. Sorry.
Yeah, I know it is, but we'll research a little bit about it. Regigigas. I don't think I've ever seen his shiny form.
Yeah, legit. I don't think he's been. Well, I think you can.
You can get it through Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon's wormhole.
I was gonna say, I think you can hunt him too, like in the main series.
Yeah. Man, it's comes to show how much shiny hunting I've done. But yeah, that's basically it on that. There's also the Cobalion Raid Weekend and the Lugia Raid Weekends has actually not been postponed, but it has been extended. So instead of actually being a full 3-day weekend from Friday to Sunday, or Monday actually, they actually extended for another 2 or 3 days in the week. So next weekend, which is actually the Cobalion Raid Weekend for Shiny Release and the special move Sacred Sword, we will actually have a couple extra days, which is I'm actually happy about it, because I think it goes over with the raid hour, right?
I believe so. Yeah, and I love Cobalion.
Yeah, so for sure,
I like his typing.
For sure, we'll see Cobalion and Lugia actually in the raid hour that a lot of people will actually usually come around. So that's actually pretty good, because we need the shiny. And hopefully a good PvP Ultra Master. So we'll see how it goes. But that's really it with the most Pokemon Go news we have. Before this podcast ends, I do want to actually talk a little bit about how everything in the world is happening, and the reason why Chris and I have actually been a little bit tired in the last few days, specifically today and this weekend. As you guys know, the COVID-19 virus have actually been a more not deadly, but it has been actually a virus that spread out more than usual than you might think. The number of cases are increasing every day. The mortality rate has actually also increased in a lot of other countries, but the thing about it is that COVID-19 is very contagious, and if you are in a group place and only one person is contagious and it spreads it out, then tough luck, everybody is already contagious in this whole thing. It's affecting not just the regular people, but everybody else, the companies, the players, everybody's being affected. Everybody's taking measurements for it. In the last few days or the last week, we've seen a lot of cancellations. We've seen a lot of postponing. We've seen a lot of quarantine. Everything that could happen to make sure that we can prevent this virus to grow even worse for everybody is that, that's why everybody's actually taking precautionary about it. A lot of the working places are making sure that they're not working a lot of time with sick people. Publix, Walmart, they're closing with new hours.
Yep, closing earlier.
Yeah, they're definitely closing early. And Chris, do you have any announcements with your work or anything?
Yeah, well, at my grocery store, we're closing an hour early to kind of help combat all the people being out. But it's not a huge difference, but I'm sure it makes a difference.
Yeah, definitely. I work in a bank, so I know that there is some other news that I will be talking about it probably in the next podcast. But every single company out there is making sure that they're limited the amount of people that are having in their stores, in their places, and then of course the events are being canceled. One of them, the biggest event that I saw being canceled was the E3 event, which usually have PlayStation, Nintendo, Xbox, like the whole shebang for announcements of new games for the rest of the year. That one got canceled, so we know this is serious. We know this is a bad thing if any of the companies out there spread it in some way, shape, or form. So that's why whoa. I just got a pharaoh in my living room here. I'm gonna catch that real quick. I don't know if it's gonna be good or anything. Please, shiny? No. Okay. Before I lost my train of thought with that Pokemon. No company wants to be responsible for the spread of this virus. That's why every single company, even Niantic, is doing what it can to make sure that for the next few weeks, or at least for the next month, we don't know how long it's gonna take at least. The amount of interaction we have with other people are minimal, and that's why you see the requirements for Go Battle League completely gone. Community days, Safari zones, everything is being postponed. They did say that in next month we'll hear something for Safari Zone Liverpool, which is in Europe, and then Safari Zone Philadelphia, which is of course in the United States. But how things are going right now, we are pretty certain that a lot of those Safari Zones are going to be postponed. We're not giving it a full 100% yet, just because we don't know how things are gonna go. But in the fact that how we have seen this virus spread faster than anything we have seen before, it's most likely. But again, don't quote me on it until we do see what's going on. So, guys, the one reason why I wanted to talk about this is because I want to make sure that everybody's safe. If you're listening to this podcast, make sure you wash your hands. Make sure you are interacting the least amount with people out there. Don't forget not to do any handshakes or hugs to random people. Fist bumping or any other salute out there will work just fine. Times are changing right now, and we want to make sure that everybody's safe out there. And to do that, we want to make sure that everybody is safe. We're just spreading the word to make sure that this doesn't get out of control, that we hope it's not going to get out of control. but we are already seeing the panic in people out there. So stay safe, guys. Sure. Stay safe. Chris, you have anything else to add to that?
For that, I think it's pretty interesting to see the steps that all the companies have been taking. You know, not just money grabbing in this pandemic. Yeah. They're closing down so people aren't seeing as much interactions with each other, which is a good thing right now. Because the sooner we get through this, the sooner that we can start hanging out and everything again. So yeah, I'm hoping it goes by faster than it would have.
Definitely, and just like you said, Chris, the faster we can get through this, the faster we can go back to having our normal lives go back to normal. And for now, just stay safe out there, guys. Make sure that you are doing what you can to prevent getting sick. And again, this is happening through a lot of the spring season, so allergies and other disease or other colds out there maybe still be affecting everybody, but still it's one of the things that we want to make sure that it's still safe, because we don't know until we do get the tests out there. But just be safe. That's all we ask for. Don't discriminate, though. That is one thing that has been seen a lot. Just because it's one person's from one place and they think that they have, you know, a more spread of the virus and all that stuff, don't discriminate. Everybody is human. We want to make sure everybody's safe, but just be out there, be careful. That's all we're asking for, guys. All right. Sorry for getting a little bit heavy there. We'll go back to regular schedule, but we only have a few minutes left on the podcast, Chris. You have mentioned that there is a little bit of news from the Celt Arena and the big tournaments out there. Go ahead, Chris.
Yeah. Personally, we have both been the tournament managers for our local Discord, and I recently discovered that they actually have been suspending the in-person tournaments, which I think is a very good idea. It just I wasn't expecting it so soon. Yeah. So it's definitely a really good step. But what's really interesting about it is because of the new friendship requirements for PvP, just one heart, so just one interaction, one gift sent, you can fight somebody. And because of that, the remote tournaments have been huge. People were making some for like 400, and right away Sylph was like, "Hey guys, we can't actually cover all this. It's really bad on our servers, so we're actually gonna set a cap at 128 per tournament, which is a 7-round tournament. Still really big and really cool. You only got to open 7 gifts. You only got to send 7 gifts, depending on what the opponent wants to do. And I think it's really fun. It's a good way to stay involved with PvP, even though you can't show up anywhere really and like talk to a lot of people. And it's also going to be a way for them to deal with the regionals that should be going on in April that won't be going on otherwise.
Yeah, definitely. Just like as Chris said, the requirements have been lowered to just good friends, so you don't have to wait 30 days or more to actually battle somebody remotely. And again, that's everybody's been taking advantage of that. Celt Arena has to make sure that they banned anything over 126 or 28.
I want to say 128.
128 competitors in one specific tournament, as of now at least. And of course, banning anybody that's actually done an in-person tournament for it. Again, no company, what Celt Arena is basically a fan-made company to allow players to play. They don't want to be responsible of the spread of the virus, and that's why they are holding in-person tournaments until further notice. And then, of course, making sure that they don't overload their service with 1,000 people tournament out there, and then people are like, "Oh my goodness, this is happening, and I can't do anything about it." So. The requirements of that was actually going to happen on Monday. South Arena did mention in their post that after March 16, those rules are in place. But if we wanted it to do our actual Toxic Cup tournament, we could have done it that Saturday, dude.
Yeah. I realized as soon as I told everyone that it was suspended.
Yeah,
because I only heard that it was the in-persons that got suspended. I didn't know it was starting Monday.
Yeah.
It might have been a good idea to not do it, but I am kind of sad that I didn't do it on Saturday.
Well, either way, we have a small community, so we'll be able to do another tournament in the next few weeks, definitely.
For sure.
It's just that right now information was scattered until South Arena make their posts specifically. But if you guys want to participate in more South Arena related tournaments, make sure you go out there. Just recently, Chris, you had a big tournament happening, right?
I mean, I've been trying to join a lot of the kind of tests that Soph has been doing, because it looks like they're trying to do a worldwide one on Monday.
Oh, Lord.
I'm assuming they're going to do 128 capped ones all over the world as a sort of regionals, and then have the winners from that compete daily till it just eventually becomes the top players from each country.
Right. Yeah.
That's what I'm assuming.
And there's been talked about it, specifically since the requirements were lower. We have 30 days. We have 30 days to do all of this, so it is a possibility we'll see a world champion come out of this. But we won't know until more information comes around, guys. So again, just try your hardest to keep playing the game the way that you want to play it, even with the small restrictions that Niantic and even South Arena have been doing to stay safe out there. So, Chris, I think that's our podcast today. Ooh, that was a lot of information again. Goodness gracious.
Oh, every day.
Every day. Again, guys, this is all happening as we go along. If this podcast is usually out a day or so later, I'm sorry. I'm trying my best to make sure it's out. We're all working through a lot. Chris specifically has been being bombarded in his workplace. And I myself have to make sure that all the information is up to date to make sure that you guys get the right information out there. But again, guys, I do want to thank everybody who has come to the live stream to hang out with us, talk about this different things that we talked about today. There's exciting things happening for sure, but there's also a lot of things that are not as exciting. So again, guys, just stay safe. And then once again, guys, if you do want to continue listening to this podcast, make sure that you check us out in either Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, and any of those podcast websites that you usually go through. And then, of course, if you want to keep on reaching with us and talking with us, make sure you email us to the purifiedpodcast@gmail.com or text us or send us a voice message at 941-417-9243. But again, guys, it's been a rough couple of days. Let's see what we can do for the next few, and let's just enjoy the way that we intended to play Pokemon Go in our own way for now. Chris, thank you so much for joining me.
It's been a pleasure.
And once again, and for sure, we'll keep you guys updated. Anywhere we can find you, Chris, one more time.
Yeah, you can find me at Christo0517 on Twitter. Send me a message if you want us to shout out something in our next stream.
Definitely. But yeah, guys, thank you very much for joining us once again. This has been the Purified Podcast, and of course, we'll see you guys in the next one. Have a good night, guys.